Welcome home to the channel. Today we're delving into a timeless classic book discussed for decades. J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye. Stay around if you have ever found yourself wondering what this book is all about. We are kindly and straightforwardly breaking it down. Let us get going. What the book is about. What then is The Catcher in the Rye all about? The narrative revolves on a young man called Holden Caulfield. Holden recently been expelled from his school and is 16 years old. He chooses to drop early from the university and spends few days in New York City before returning home. Since Holden writes from his point of view, we are able to view the world through his eyes in the novel. The main character, Holden Caulfield. The primary character is Holden, and he sees the world in somewhat unusual manner. He feels distant from the people around him, perplexed and resentful. The phoniness Holden notes in grown-ups bothers him. He regularly feels lonely and battles with his emotions. Holden spends a lot of time throughout the novel discussing his deceased younger brother, Allie. Holden's death profoundly influences him and changes his perspective on the world. The title and its meaning. The book, The Catcher in the Rye, has a really significant title. It originates from a tune Holden comes over in the book. One lyric in the song describes someone catching others in a field of rye. Holden sees himself as the catcher, keeping kids from tumbling over a cliff. This cliff stands symbolic for innocence lost. Holden wants to shield children from entering the demanding reality of life. Holden's journey in New York. Holden meets several people while in New York. There are old friends and some newcomers. He visits pubs, stays in motels, and even makes attempts to get back in touch with his younger sister Phoebe. One of the few persons Holden feels connected to is Phoebe. Holden likes her youthful and still naive nature. Holden looks for someone who fits him throughout these days. Still, he usually feels more alone. Themes in the book. This book addresses several major ideas. The conflict between childhood and adulthood runs over most of the work. Holden is afraid of grown-up life and wants not to grow up. Adults to him are dishonest and phony. Loneliness is still another topic. Holden feels alone most of the time even if he lives in a major metropolis. He keeps looking for connection, although he usually distances others. One also finds a theme in mental health. Holden is clearly emotionally straining based on his words and deeds. He doesn't know how to handle his uncertainty and hurt. The ending. No spoilers. Though I wouldn't reveal the finish to you, let me say this. The book does not cleanly connect things together. It feels so real as it left some unresolved issues. Holden's path does not finish with an obvious solution. That is, nevertheless, what gives the narrative strength. Why this book matters. Why is this book so well known, one wonders. The Catcher in the Rye addresses emotions we all go through, hence appealing to a lot of people. At some point most of us have experienced loss, wrath, or misinterpretation. Holden's narrative effectively and relatably catches those feelings. Though the book was written in 1951, its ideas are still pertinent today. This novel has you considering growing up, figuring out your position in the world, and what it is to be true to yourself. Conversation surrounded by the book. Furthermore, worth noting is The Catcher in the Rye's contentious nature. Because of its tone and topics, some have attacked the book. Holden is somewhat critical of society and employs some severe language. However, many readers and critics believe this is what defines the novel as real. Though they're not always lovely, it captures Holden's actual thoughts and emotions. Holden's impact on pop culture. In literature, Holden Caulfield is now a legendary figure. He has such unique voice that it is difficult to forget. Holden has over the years inspired numerous other works, films, and even songs. This guy stands for a certain type of young revolt and uncertainty. Reading The Catcher in the Rye, you will see why Holden has had such a significant influence. Who should check this book? Who then ought to pick The Catcher in the Rye? This book is for you if you find great enjoyment in tales of personal experiences and strong emotions. If you are an adolescent or have ever felt awkward, it is very potent. Still, Holden's story has a lot to teach even an adult. This book asks you to consider life from another angle. The Catcher in the Rye is ultimately a work you will find great resonance. One unforgettable character is Holden Caulfield. His narrative is emotionally charged, confusing, and full of meaning-seeking. This book is a must-read whether you enjoy it or find it difficult. One of those books that somewhat alters your perspective on the world. I really suggest reading it if you haven't yet. That's all for today's video. With this synopsis of J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye, perhaps you found enjoyment. If you did, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to get further book summaries and reviews. Tell us in the comments also whether you have read this book and what you found of it. We would love your opinions. Thanks for seeing. Future video will see you.